Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the portrait of the amazing, incredible Dian Keaton, and by coincidence I was just talking about her the morning that she passed. I was talking to my partner about a friend of ours and how I love her fashion style and how it really reminds me of Dian Keaton. I never talk about Dian Keaton. I don't know where that came from, but just hours later I saw the news, and it just seems like a short time ago we were watching Dian Keaton dancing in her garden to that Miley Cyrus song, Flowers. Anyway, I remember about 20 years ago I was at the Chapel Street Bazaar in Melbourne, and I came across a big suitcase of photos, and they were 20 cents each, and one was the portrait of Dian Keaton. I guess it was like a glamour shot for maybe autographing and sending to fans, or maybe an audition photo. But anyway, I bought that and I stuck it in my sketchbook, and she was just one of many people that served as inspiration and people that I admired in the world. And so today I'm going to paint her portrait as a thank you letter, as a love letter to Dian Keaton, and let's see if we get any messages from her. My first sense is that she's ecstatic and full of joy and really delighted at the experience that she had with us. So that was really positive as a first impression. All right, I'll meet you on the page and let's get started. All right, let's open the call with Dian Keaton. So my first impressions of her, I'm gonna paint her with this hat on, that she's really jubilant and she is full of energy, much like we knew of her in life. And it's almost like she has this feeling of elation, like, wow, what a wild ride that was. And that she's looking down back at the world and at her life and at her time on the earth as if she's looking at a light box. Do you know those light boxes that used to look at film or slides? You'd put the film negatives on top of this light box and you could see them. You'd use like a little magnifying glass. That's what I see her doing. She actually, I was like, what age is she? Because she kind of looked not too dissimilar to how she left, like very high energy, but you know, she was sort of morphing between like 28 years old and 58 years old, and just she was still sort of calibrating. But I mean, she's sort of in an ageless state now, but huge smile, really energetic. It's like she was doing a big stretch, feeling her flexibility again, and just feeling buoyant and exhilarated and there was also another sentiment. It was like she said something about, I did like a meditation before I turned on the camera, so this is what I'm reporting about just a minute ago, and I'll probably start getting some more messages as I paint. But something about there are no beginnings or endings. It's one sort of windy loop, like a old-fashioned telephone line, you know, in ringlets. It was just sort of like this, her marveling at, sort of laughing at the absurdity. Apologies for that. There we go. Car alarm. Thank goodness it just finished. She's looking back at like the little ringlets in her life where she felt sort of concerned with other people's opinions, and she was constantly trying to sort of push herself through that and make that irrelevant. She wanted to stay on target, on mission, an uplifter, but also like an inquisitive soul, an explorer of sort of dimensions in relationship to people. I'm picking up a very sort of curious nature, and her ability to break into crackling laughter, it lends itself to her there's just like a little buffer of a distance of wisdom between her and what she was observing. And I feel like that was part of her buoyancy, her joy, her joie de vivre. She feels like she was observing and curious. I apologize, repeating sentences sometimes. I'm trying to sort of get to the crux of it. Just like when I'm trying to find the perfect color, that's me trying to find the words. As I paint around her eyes here, I feel emotion, and I'm picking up her children. That was something that feels like maybe prolonged her exit. She was ready to go. She felt sort of done with this experience in many ways, but also, you know, she wanted to sort of prepare them to be ready to continue without her. She felt very indebted to them. So much love, so much gratitude, feeling humbled by the experience of getting to be their mum. And she felt confident in their ability to carry on perfectly fine without her, but she wanted to feel like everything was sort of in its place, everything was in order, everything was said, cases closed, feelings of resolution. And ultimately I feel like when she made her exit, it was peaceful. Full of love and intention. There's a seriousness about her that is quite sort of, it feels focused. I just heard the weirdest phrase. She said, I didn't want to live an anorexic life. I'm interpreting that not as literally like to do with diet, but to do with, I got another word, flimsy or narrow. She wanted to have a full experience and rich relationships and friendships. And she enjoyed being able to demonstrate her commitment to the people that she loved. She also enjoyed challenging conversation, quite a cerebral nature to her, but she enjoyed an opportunity to, really demonstrate her commitment. So her commitment to frivolity, to expansion, to communication. I feel that communication was a full body experience. So just in the way that I was just casually talking about her the other day and talking about my friend's style and it being like Dian Keaton, her style was a form of communication. Self-liberation. There does feel like something, there's like a lurking strictness in the background. It feels like her determination also comes from a need to be taken seriously as response to being overshadowed, overlooked, underestimated, undervalued. I'm hearing shortchanged. Interesting. I'd like to know more about that. I'm now seeing Angelica Houston. Okay, people are just popping up now. Meryl Streep, Bette Midler, who's Russo? Let's see, Jane Fonda, Stucker Channing. There's a whole list of people that are just popping up. Lots of names are popping up. I'm feeling great camaraderie for her friendships. They really feel so grounding and nurturing and very fulfilling to her. Okay. Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty. Why Bogart? Maybe these are, there's lists and lists coming up now. Lists. Interesting. There's a side to her that feels quite formal and organized and feels quite relaxing to feel organized. Now I'm feeling fabrics. I'm feeling like it's like a cashmere color, like chinos, like cream, fawn, blues. I'm seeing like a spectrum of colors that are just sort of like muted, like caramels and creams and sort of sandy tones. Now I'm feeling like she's on holiday and she's reading, and she feels really content. Her mind is fully engaged. She feels like she's absorbing, enriching her mind, but she's also, it feels that she's at a beach, and it feels, I can see sort of like sandstone, limestone cliffs nearby with sort of twisty shrubs and trees. It feels like it's somewhere sort of off the beaten path, but not too far from where the main fair kind of go. It feels like it's like sort of close to Cannes or like Corsica, or like, not sure where Tofino is in relation, but it seems like it's around near Monte Carlo sort of area. I'm feeling like a region, and it feels like it's there's like it feels like she's discovered a spot that feels sort of unique to her, and it feels like a bit of a hideaway, and that she's there with her kids, which feel older, and there's a few people there. In fact, she might have come with another family. It feels like a small community of friends, there's a big house, and there's a private beach, and everyone's sort of taking care of their own entertainment, and she's reading, and she feels really happy in this moment. Other people are sort of entertaining themselves, and she's she feels like she's really enriching her mind while she's in this beautiful space, this beautiful area. This feels like a real highlight to her. And it feels like she's having a philosophical moment where she is pondering the end of her life. This feels like maybe a couple of years ago. It doesn't feel sad at all. It feels quite reflective. And now I feel like lists are coming up in her mind. People she wants to be in contact with. Yeah, it feels like there's like checks and balances, little receipts, there feels like a debt of thanks that she wants to ensure she sort of like pays all of her emotional debts off. It's not that she is indebted to a lot of people, but she wants to have some frank conversations. She wants to she feels very generous, and she wants to I don't know, like make her love known in these little conversations and gifts to people. It's like something she diligently just sort of started, feels like 7 years ago. Just sort of like wrapping things up. She didn't know when she was to leave, but she started feeling like an awareness of wanting to get things in place. I feel that COVID spurred that on, and she, you know, the topic of death and as a worldwide concept was on the menu. And so enjoying having control over the trajectory of her life, and her life as a well thought out story. She wanted to make sure that like she'd settled balances with friends. There were some friends that feel like they were I feel like there's a Cancer sign, like a water sign, that helped her to attune herself to like matters of the heart. And it's like she had a couple of friends in her orbit that didn't think like her and were more heart oriented, and she wanted to really make sure that they were well taken, that they knew how much they meant to her. Feels like someone with blonde hair, almost like a Melanie Griffith type. Someone a bit more, I don't know, I want to say sensible, but someone who's more heart-centered, that's in her orbit. And there were a couple of girlfriends in her circle that really, they meant a lot to her, and they made a real difference in helping her to grow her heart, to feel her feelings a bit more. And I can't quite place who this person is. This person might not have been really in the public eye. They could have been like a sister, or I'm not sure if, I don't think it's a sister. But I feel that this feels like a very humbling feeling, that in accepting the end of her life and her, it feels like she was aware of it. It doesn't feel like a sudden like thing that just happened. It does feel like there was a bit of a run up to it. On the whole, I feel like she was very healthy, but at some point nature just sort of took its course a bit. But yeah, I'm getting this real focused importance on settling debts of gratitude and making sure that people close to her really understood how important they were and how much she really appreciated them in her own words, so that she didn't want people to just sort of guess or just appreciate things about her that were sort of out of her control. So yeah, I feel that she made some calls to ex-loves as well, and also thanked them. I feel that she was on good terms with most people, and that when something had run its course, she understood. She definitely was not a subscriber to big dramatic demonstrations of hideous emotion and meltdowns. But that she felt so free to access that other world through acting, and that was one of the gifts, was that she was able to integrate and really grow her heart through her craft by looking in on this world that wasn't really her natural inclination, but that was sort of like a vehicle to travel for her. Was traveling with emotions, was trying them on. I also saw her patting quite a shaggy dog, and it felt like a male, felt like a really dear friend to her. Kind of a sandy color. And I feel this wonderful sense of relief being on the other side of her life, reflecting and feeling really good about herself, feeling like she really made some huge strides, and that she feels very proud that she was very strong in ways. She's feeling very proud of herself. She can feel the impact that she had on many young women. And she's looking back, it feels like around 1976, and she's looking back at sort of a chain of events that she was part of that helped to open a lot of minds and give women a lot of courage. And she can also see that she touched a lot of men's hearts as well, and that she was a friend to them. As a public figure, she was like a diplomatic, symbolic idea for femininity that felt quite fresh and new, and that she definitely had a unique perspective to share with the world, and she did it. I really want to punctuate these glasses. Let's get in there with some. First, I'm going to go in with some maroon. Oh, I've got this. Didn't mean for this brush, but I'll use it anyway. I'm really enjoying capturing the part around her eyes. Beautiful light eyes, but a very poised focus. She feels like a very wise soul that sort of came to brush up on her knowledge. This feels like she was here for a masterclass and wanted to live publicly to an extent. I think that she did a very good job of keeping her personal life private, but that she wanted, it's like she wanted her research to be shared publicly. Her research as in her life as an actor. And her body of work. She feels very, what's a better word than particular or cautious? Very pointed and very purposeful, very... She curated her body of work, her life's work. It was very thoughtful. She acted, her forward movement in her career was, she wanted it to make sense as an entire, I'm hearing concerto, like an entire album. Yeah. Loved music. Music feels like a real access point into her craft. Yeah, I'm picking up very well read. Scholarly. Very dignified. And a very soft heart. Very strong, but a very beautiful heart. I'm seeing an affinity with trees. You see her walking slowly and looking up. Really good awareness. Very philosophical. A little cynical in healthy measure. Okay, let's make sure I get this part right. I feel like I'm getting there, Let's put some color there. I feel like she really, the third part of her life feels like a weight lifted. And she really took on this levity that she didn't have. I feel like she was quite serious in her youth. And just like an internal sort of, it's a drive, but it's also like a nagging, like a, something that really she was able to loosen up and get a hold of as she got older. And I feel that if she could go back to her younger self, she would really let herself off the hook. I feel like she looks back and was just like, oh my God, I was so serious. And I wish I could have enjoyed the moments and really taken a step back out of myself. She's grateful to herself and her drive for all that. I mean, her instincts were right, and it led her to a very fulfilling experience of her life. But I am seeing that it feels like a bit of a block, like a bit of an impediment. Her ambition feels like it sort of kept her at a little bit of a distance. And like she feels that maybe at the time she wasn't so interested in being relatable or relating to everyone. She was very clear-eyed, but she feels that she missed some opportunities to see what was really going on in people's lives, that she was a little preoccupied with her own journey forward. And I think that she made up for that. She became a lot more self-reflective and interested on she was in a movie called Interiors, but I feel like she really did become more interested in her interior life. Very generous. I'm feeling an importance around wanting to have significant value to the world and to the people in her world. She wants to she doesn't have control anymore about how people remember her, but she wanted her time with people to be memorable and valuable. And she worked hard to, you know, maybe she spent too much time putting thought into the way she lived her life, but you know, she wasn't able to just sort of be as spontaneous as she would have maybe liked to have been. But she noticed the people that did, and she loved and celebrated their company. Okay, I'm feeling like an impulse to put red around her. Let's find a nice warm orange, something like that. I just keep feeling her really thrilled and like bedazzled by the people she's now interacting with. I feel like she really did achieve so much and beyond what she set out for. I feel like once she felt the gravity of her career taking off, she really dug in, but I think it came quite easily at first. I feel that she was maybe looking in a different direction, and it sort of took her by surprise, and that's how it was able to just sort of start flowing. It felt like a balancing act of holding on tightly and letting go, and the loosening her grip sometimes. Well, I'm very grateful for her presence here in the world, and I hope that she can feel all the love and gratitude from all the people that she touched. She made a very valuable contribution, and she shared herself with the world very generously. And she worked very hard. She put her heart and her deep thinking mind in her work, and it was of great value. All right, I'm going to leave it right here for today. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, maybe it's a good time to go through her catalog of incredible films and feel her spirit and that wonderful laughter, cheeky glint in her eye. Keep laughing, Diane. We love you. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.